you've talked in glowing terms about this team's mental toughness all year and how much you like them. I mean, you believe that they're going to get over this, 2 losses in a row pretty quickly, or, find a way to move forward from this?
Well, you can only go by what you've seen so far, and every game that we've asked, everything that we've asked of them, they've done it. And I don't think the 2 losses are as much of an issue as our physical state, our mental state, as to how we are physically. The losses themselves, it's not like they've never lost before. We already had a couple going in. So I'm not as much concerned about, are we going to get over the losses, as how do we figure out how to play through this physically and be consistent and be mentally present. That's going to be our biggest challenge going forward.
And how do you revive the kids? I mean, who are just mentally fatigued at this point and so tired? Is there anything you can do?
Well, yeah, you can cancel the game and move it, a couple days, or you can ask them to change the schedule so that we have 2 home games in a row, so we're not on an airplane every other day. There's really not much you can do other than, shorten everything up. In the past, shorten everything up, which is what we've been doing since December. That's about it. I mean, if this was a non-school time, if we were on break, we could maybe, do something. But, right now, you play Saturday, you have a free day Sunday, and you play right away again on Wednesday, and then you get another, and it's just never ending.
Thanks.
Maggie?
Have you ever seen this kind of mental fatigue in your players before, like it's in past teams?
No. You've never been in this situation. There's been times when, for whatever reason, we were limited in how many, but the combination of that and having to work so hard, and because we don't have any scoring coming off the bench, so all those geniuses that say play your bench more, we have to score points, and we don't have any scorers on the bench. So that works on their mind too, that every shot we take, those starters, every shot they take, every offensive possession, there's a tremendous amount of pressure. All my 30-some years here in Connecticut, we always had 1 or 2 kids coming off the bench, and they just scored points. And you saw how much our team was different when, we had Carroll, coming off the bench, or in the starting lineup, and Aubrey coming off the bench, however it worked out. But we don't have that. So there's tremendous, pressure on having to make, and then add that in the fact that we don't have enough ball handlers, and the ball's flying all over the place. So it's a weird combination that popped up the other day. And obviously you think about it, that wasn't there Sunday.
And then real quickly, do you have an update on Caroline, and if you think she'll be available tomorrow?
I don't think tomorrow, but Caroline's words, I'm really close.
That's good to hear. Thanks.
So I take that as a huge positive.
Carl?
Geno, is there someone on your support, on your support staff, or someone at the school, when these players have to deal with the mental fatigue, the mental issues, that they can talk to, and how does that if there is, how does that all work?
Well, every university that I know of has those resources, and obviously we do, for one, the general student body, and then two, there are two people that directly work with athletes in different capacities. And the players have access to all this. And whether they choose to use it or not, that's not something that a coach can dictate. But whether it's, in our office or on campus or not associated with the university. We've had kids, you know how the world works right now. They have nutritionists, they got this trainer, they got that trainer. We've had players in the past who had someone that they talked to that was not even related to anything on campus. It was just somebody that I know works in that business. And I put them in touch, say, here, if you want to take advantage of this, do it. If you don't, that's fine too. And, they did. So there's lots of outlets, there's lots of resources. And it's not, it's not something that's, unique to any team on campus or any group or any, one segment of the population. It's the whole school, the whole country of kids their age.
Any thoughts about that you're playing at the entertainment and sports arena where the Mystics play rather than McDonough Arena today or tomorrow, excuse me?
Yeah, I'm going to miss McDonough Arena, I've been to this other place, I think one time. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever been in it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. But I'm going to miss McDonough.
Lila.
Hey, Geno, hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
I'll tell you first off, it's a very weird location where they have the sports entertainment center where you guys will be at. But it's a nice venue. In terms of dealing with this kind of, mental and physical fatigue at this stretch of a season, I know you said you've never had it to this extent, but just how's the way that you kind of approach that as, a coach changed over the years, especially now these last 2 seasons, and when you're dealing with it in a stretch of a season where you're getting close to, March?
Yeah. As a coaching staff, there's different strategies that we can use, especially with today's technology. There's things that we can do at practice. There's things we can do off the practice floor, which we actually had one of those days, a couple of days before the South Carolina game. You have these mental health days, kind of, where you get away from basketball for a little bit and get your mind on some other things in a different environment. So there's lots of strategies that we use. Some of it just takes care of itself. For instance, late January, early February, the grind of the season catches up to you. I don't care how you prepare for it, how you don't, the grind of the season catches up to you. And it lasts quite some time, and you hope that you're good enough to fight through it. Then as March rolls around, everything changes. All of a sudden, you're not tired. All of a sudden, mentally, you're not somewhere else. You're not fatigued anymore because now it's tournament time. So the adrenaline starts flowing. You know, you practice hardly at all because you have so many games. The excitement takes care of a lot of that. Sometimes during the season, at this time of the season, there ain't a whole lot of excitement going on.
Vicky? Oh, sorry. Do you have a follow-up, Lila?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you know, you mentioned kind of like the team having like a mental health day. What does that kind of look like?
It look like anything depending on who you are, you know, and what you prefer, you know, like, you know, it's like a spa day, you know, like they have, you know, you show up and you pick from different things and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, or this is what I'm going to do, you know, and our people are pretty good at scheduling stuff like that, you know, where, you know, you get an hour, you know, some people just, for an hour, just want to kind of sit back and, you know, in a quiet environment and not have to talk to anybody, not have to listen to anybody, not have to see anything. No phones, no technology. You know, we just shut everything down. Be surprised how much that helps, just, you know, for an hour, much less if you had a whole, you know, whole day of it. So it's a lot of things, you know, saunas, steam rooms, massages, you name it. Like I said, it's a spa day, pretty much.
Thank you.
Short of manicures and pedicures, which I was voting for, but I got turned down. Maybe next time.
Vicky?
Gino, this has been a weird week. On Sunday, you said how good you felt about the team based on how you played against South Carolina, and then you kind of played lousy on Wednesday. Then yesterday, when they did the first reveal for the NCAA tournament, they made you a top seed. I guess do you still feel like the glass is half full? Like you had like a little blip in the middle, but it's you're still UConn. You can't be like going and having a spa day. You're still UConn.
I know. You know, and this isn't, you know, these getaway days are not like unique. You know, I remember we were playing in the Big East tournament down at Rutgers one year and we were exhausted. And, you know, we just, and during the tournament, we just put the team on a bus because we were at Rutgers and we just went down to the Jersey Shore and just hung out for a day. You know, you'd be surprised. It does wonders, you know, just to get away from your routine. But things change fast, you know. I think the adrenaline of Saturday, or I should say Sunday at noon, the adrenaline, the opponent, the crowd, just the buildup, you know, and then for us to actually compete the way we did and have the kind of game that we did, believe me, there was a million things that I didn't like about that game from our standpoint, what we didn't do, or what we did do. And I don't know if I expected or anybody expected a carryover. They're like, we're going to do the exact same thing Wednesday at Marquette. I knew that wasn't going to be possible. So you knew some kind of letdown was coming. I just didn't expect it to be that, you know, that extreme. But at the same time, you know, we started the game off on a bang. You know, we're up 8-0 or whatever it is. We're getting the ball where we wanted to get it. We're doing what we want to do. And they, to their credit, they just never backed down, and they came back at us really hard. And we just, didn't respond for the first time all year. We just didn't respond. And I think it got to the point where it was just, I don't have it in me for this fight tonight. And nothing wrong with that.
Are you still glass half full going forward though? Like, you know what they're capable of.
Of course. Yeah. We're realistic too. We look at each other sometimes and go, it's a miracle to be where we are. And then at the same time, you're disappointed because, you play lousy and the other team kicked your butt. So yeah, glass has always got to be half full. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Not through this, not coaching or playing at UConn.
And then just in terms of like talking about the mental fatigue, but also physical has to be a huge part of it. With, you said, with all the traveling and like Lou's getting like squished between screens and Dorca's getting whacked in the post, like they have to be physically tired too, right?
Yeah, one leads to the other. I don't think you separate the two. And for the most part, when you think about how many games we played or how many minutes we played, to play that many minutes and still, again, I go back to Sunday, to still be able to compete at that level. Obviously we're in tremendous shape physically and conditioning wise. That's never worried me, whether or not we were, conditioned well enough. But I just think it's human nature. At some point it's going to take its toll. There's no way around it. And you don't separate the two. You're mentally tired, you're physically tired. Physically, you're tired. Mentally, you're not sharp.